The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com, 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Post-game pod coming to you. You can tell I'm not in the podcast studio. I hit the road for the weekend. You might have heard Drew and Scal on our broadcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing my beachy background, and they were making fun of me a little bit, but we're just even when you're on the road, you got to grind through. You got to bring it, and I'm glad I did, because Celtics take down the Toronto Raptors in overtime on a game winner from Jayson Tatum. I'm going to stay out of the way most of this podcast. We'll get to all of our post-game coverage. You'll hear from all the key players in this one. Celtics win a thriller, but here's the theme. Celtics keep getting the best shot from the opposing teams, and even on a sleepy Saturday night against a Raptors team that has struggled all season, you got Jakob Poeltl going nuts, you got RJ Barrett having a monster game, and the Celtics had to kind of dig deep and find ways to get to the finish line of this one. I mean, how ironic that they have a chance to win it at the end of regulation. Tatum gets about as good of a look as you could ever imagine in that moment and completely misses on the shot. I think I might have got the backboard, but just a wide open kind of look as the defender stumbles and can't get it to go. You fast forward to overtime, back and forth action, and here's Tatum as another play breaks down, this time with Jaylen Brown tripping as they tried to get into a set play, and Tatum steps back and hits a 25-footer to win the game. And it was a pretty cool moment as everyone gets out on the court. I think Al Horford's kid was in the middle of the scrum as well. But the one thing I will say is that a lot of the post-game talk here will be about Tatum's game winner, and yet I thought the biggest theme from tonight was everybody had their hand at some point in getting the Celtics to this victory. In fact, I thought maybe the key stretch, middle of the third quarter, Celtics just kind of limping through, and the Raptors are just kind of really trying to take control. Peyton Pritchard makes a couple threes. Jordan Walsh comes in and gives you a couple good minutes. Al Horford throughout this game, especially late, knocking down threes, making all the right plays. The Celtics got so much from everybody. And, I do all that. I don't even tell you, like, Jaylen Brown had another monster night, super efficient from the field, gets to the free throw line 10 times, takes on a defensive challenge at the end of the game, won in those reps, was probably in position to get a look in overtime. He got thrown to the ground. He actually said, wasn't too worked up about it. He does wish that if they're going to let things be physical, that they'll let him be physical. He played much of the end of this game with 5 fouls and was remarkably good, including helping Nemish Kate on a block late in this game. But I love that Jaylen has become super efficient and wants it on both ends of the court. Everybody on that roster, Sam Hauser had maybe his best game of the season off the bench. Everybody played their part in getting the Celtics to this win. And it's just the way it's probably going to be. I know that Joe Mazzulla doesn't like the whole hunter versus the hunted thing, but it is clear this team is getting everybody's best shot. People are coming to the Garden, and regardless of how their season is going, they are motivated to show up against this Celtics team to push the champs. And it just, again, Jakob Poeltl's having career nights. Guys know that there's a little bit more of a spotlight on these games, that there's a stage here to show what they can do. And the Celtics have just got to find, at times, ways to be gritty and get to the finish line. It's not going to always be pretty. And this one certainly wasn't for long stretches. But they found a way to get it done. And you might have thought this would be a nice breezy win on a Saturday night against the Raptors. But they turned things up a little bit on the Celtics. Credit to Tatum again for could have lingered on the missed shot at the end of regulation, found a way to hang in there and come up with the big shot in the big moment. It's funny because we showed a graphic on Postgame Live, and I think it's the number of game tying or go ahead buckets that players have produced now in the final seconds of games. And Tatum's reputation, while he has not been the most efficient player in those regular season moments, I would say he's absolutely gone up a level in the postseason. It was jarring to see that he's now at the top of that list, ahead of guys like DeMar DeRozan and Steph Curry, who are just known players that play well at the end of games. And so Tatum is slowly sort of changing that reputation about what he can do at the end of games. Now, I probably wouldn't have been talking about that after the end of regulation when misfired so badly, but you got another opportunity and made the most of it. And maybe I'm not saying they should settle for the deep three in that instance, but I do think there's something to taking your mind out of it. When Eddie House was talking on our postgame show about sometimes you just go play free and just good things happen. And so Tatum, in a big time moment, found a way to make a big time play and get the Celtics to the finish line of another win. I'm already, it's hard to. While this game was fun and fun to focus on, there's another one coming up on Tuesday night. So here's more from our postgame show, and then we'll talk about Tuesday night.
Gear up for more in the year of 24 at the award-winning 24 Auto Group. This is our year, and we want to celebrate it with you. That's why we've got sales and service specials, giveaway contests and prizes, and fun family events happening all year long. So tune in every 24th of the month for the latest year of 24 news and offers. With 10 convenient locations across Massachusetts and Rhode Island and 8 top brands, we have the knack to save you more in the year of 24. Visit us in-store or online at 24autogroup.com.
All right, back here on Celtics Postgame Live. Celtics getting the win tonight. First matchup with Toronto. They'll play 3 more times. Next one will be on New Year's Eve. It's December 31st at TD Garden. Let's bring Chris and Eddie back in. And Eddie, I know that, at some point we'll talk about the points in the paint, but I want to get to the defense that we saw late in the fourth quarter and also in overtime, particularly by Jaylen Brown. He had the block in the fourth quarter and then comes up with a big stop on R.J. Barrett where he gets the help defense from Kata. Your thoughts on what you saw from the defense down the stretch?
Well, he always takes that challenge, and R.J. Barrett had it rolling. R.J. Barrett, obviously, besides Pirtle, was the second best player for the Toronto Raptors tonight. And so he took that challenge. And in the fourth quarter, great defense by him. And what I like the most is the team defense was able to step up because he got beat. He got crossed over. He was expecting R.J. Barrett to try to go left, so he hung on his left hand. R.J. Barrett crossed over, went right to his right, went up, tried to finish left, and then guess who comes in? Kata comes in to get the block shot. I like the team defense. I like the awareness of the team. I like that. I like the fact that also, even though Jaylen was sitting on his left hand, he still forced him to go right. We know R.J. Barrett loves to go left, right? He loves to finish left. He went right and tried to finish left. Jaylen was there. He had to move it just a hair to his right to go right into where Kata was able to get the deflection. So I like the team defense overall at the end to get that win.
Yeah, Chris, I mean...
And let's face it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, let's face it, right? Like, we've been talking about Jaylen in the all-defense category for the better part of a season plus now. He's taking on that challenge. You think back to the Bucks game and wanting to defend Giannis in key spots. He always wants to take on the challenge of guys that are elite scorers. You're not going to be perfect against them, but you can make it difficult. And I thought Jaylen was up to the task tonight, especially in crunch time when they needed him most. And that's all I can ask for from a defender is like the willingness to go out there. And you start thinking about it too. No Drew Holiday, so you're without one of your elite all defense guys, and you just need a little bit more from everybody. I love that Jaylen wanted to take on that assignment and wanted to try and at least make things difficult on a night that, like you said, R.J. Barrett had it rolling.
So they get the key stops down the stretch. Jayson Tatum gets the buzzer-beating walk-off game winner for the Celtics as they take this one in overtime. Let's set it out to Abby Chin standing by with Joe Mazzulla.
Joe, an incredible shot from Jayson. What kind of mental fortitude does that take after missing in regulation and missing so many shots to be able to come through in moments like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just moving on to the next play. The process of execution. We got the shot that we wanted, didn't go in. We have to go to overtime, and you do it over again. So just moving on to the next thing, staying in the present moment. It was great execution by the team, great shot by him, and he delivered, so it was good.
Yeah, what was your message in the locker room? You guys have had a bunch of these close ones, and like you just said, it's only November. Yeah,
I mean, listen, like the regular season, you never know how it's going to go. So can we get better? Yes. We have to get better, yes. But, I like the approach that we took in the training camp. I like the approach that we brought into the beginning of the season. And there's just stuff that we have to clean up. So that's part of the regular season. But we're aware of it, and we're just continuing to chip away at it.
I know you're aware of it. 76 points in the paint. Is there anything more that can be done to shore up the interior and the boards?
Yeah, I mean, they come in a few different ways. Some of it's in transition, some of it's on dribble drives. I mean, obviously 30 of them are from Jakob Poeltl, who, when it's not a close game, those are the type of shots that you're willing to give up, but he's really good at those. So, I would separate the Jakob Poeltl ones from the other ones, and we just have to clean up some of our rebounding, clean up our defense. But you always have to get better. So we understand that, but I like the way we're competing. I like the way that we're just working through things, and we just got to keep getting after it.
Thank you, Joe. On to the next one.
Thanks.
The Black Friday countdown starts now. Drew Carter here with Slam Dunk Specials from Nissan 24.
Lease a new Nissan Rogue for as little as $199 a month, or lease a new Sentra for as low as $124 a month.
We want to buy your car, and we'll give you top dollar for it. Plus, get 24% off any brake replacement or coolant system services. Score your Black Friday deal before the final buzzer. Shop online at Nissan24auto.com.
Let's get into Al Horford, who had a monster game. He had 18 points. Obviously played a ton of minutes in this one, and I do believe we have Chris Forsberg still. But Chris, you mentioned Al earlier, so I wanted to give you a chance of what you thought of his game tonight. Certainly looked like his best of the season.
Yeah, and I think Scal mentioned it in the Tommy Award segment, the 2 days off, that can't hurt, right? Like, they just grinded through 13 games in 23 days, I believe it was. I know Al hasn't been playing the second night of back-to-backs, but it's still a grind for him. And the ability to get those extra time, he looked refreshed. And you just always feel like Al's going to make the big play in those moments, had a bunch of big threes. The scoring output was needed tonight on a night you don't have Drew Holiday. So quite the luxury when you can get that little boost from someone like Al. And just, at the end of games, I want the ball touching his hands in some way, right? Like, even if it's just facilitating or knocking down the open three when it swings his way, Al always seems to find a way to make the big play.
Yeah, he was monstrous in that fourth quarter, Eddie. He's 5 of 10 from 3 on the night. And again, those 18 points, a season high. The other thing, too, I want to talk about was in the third quarter, the Celtics were down 7, and you saw Peyton Pritchard kind of come alive, Eddie. He knocked down a couple of threes, and then he also found Luke Cornett, nice pass. But the bench, and then Sam Hauser stepping up, and he had his best game of the season. What did you think of the bench and Sam Hauser in this one?
Yeah, I talked about it in the first half, right? I said we only had 5 points off the bench in the first half, and we end up with 27. Okay, Sam Hauser had 14 of that. Peyton Pritchard had 6, Cornett had 2, and Jordan Walsh was able to add in a 3 as well. And so you need that production from your bench. If you don't get bench production, it's pretty tough to win in this league unless your superstars are going crazy. And even though we had, 6 guys in double figures, all 5 starters and Sam Hauser in double figures, it's still hard to win in this league when you don't get bench production. You need when those minutes that your starters aren't out there, guys got to step up and make some plays. Got to make some shots. Don't necessarily have to make a bunch of shots, but you got to score the basketball. But you got to get stops. You got to do the small things, rebound the basketball, and make sure that the other team is not allowed to just go on a run while you have your stars on the bench while they're resting, so they could come in. The cavalry could come in and run through everything. So I think that the bench did good in the second half, with 22 points in the second half. I think that's very, very serviceable. That's what you need from your bench. And then also let's talk about 30 assists on 44 field goals. The ball was hopping around. We shot 61 threes. We did shoot 61 threes again. We got that 60 number again. But and that's fine. It's okay.
Okay, yeah, 21-61, and Jaylen Brown, meanwhile, on this night, looking from the three-point line, was just 2 of 7, but he did lead the Celtics 27 points. He's talking to the media back at TD Garden. Let's hear from Jaylen.
Jaylen, was that last play drawn up for you?
Yeah, but it's all our plays are like reads, so whatever the opening is, that's what we got.
How impressive, I guess, for Jayson after missing that one in regulation and the shots that he did to be able to come through in that one?
Yeah, that was a big-time shot. We needed it bad. The last thing we wanted to do was go into double overtime with the Toronto Raptors, so big-time shot.
What was reading on just how this game went for you guys? It's, they piled points in the paint, energy-wise. Where do you guys feel like you're at for this game?
We need to watch it, but I think overall we're just giving up too many layups. And I feel like our defense could be better. I feel like they just shot way too many easy shots in the paint, and that's kind of been a theme, so we got to figure that out.
How's your hip flexor feeling after the past week?
It's feeling better. I'm feeling more and more like myself. I'm moving better both ways. I'm still not quite 100%, but any pain that I have or it's manageable. Before it was kind of like limiting me, but now I feel a lot better.
Were you surprised you didn't get a foul call in that last play? What was your?
I guess all game, like the level of physicality, which I'm cool with to a certain extent, but like if you're gonna allow them to just put two hands and try to stop me, allow me to use my physical gifts as well. And I feel like all night they were just doing that, just trying to knock you off balance, using two hands. And I shot a decent amount of free throws tonight, so I'm not really upset about it. But that last play, I thought was a foul for sure. But I'm just glad we got the win.
What was the play call there? What were you guys trying to set up initially?
We just wanted to get the last shot. We got some good action at a scrum. So that play was similar to the play that we ran where I dumped it off to Nimi, which tied the game. It was the same play as that.
Conceptually you're going to get every team's best shot, but what is the reality of that and the challenge there?
Yeah, I think we accept that, but then also we just got to be smart. I think last team seemed to not beating us on the three-point line. It's not like we want to encourage teams to shoot threes or anything, but we definitely don't want to just keep giving up layup after layup after layup. So we're going to figure some stuff out. We'll watch it and we'll adjust.
You talk about, last question, the new season, right? You guys got to go through a whole new thing. What's the challenge now, you guys, having won the championship? Mentally, the human nature aspect, what is that challenge going through these games?
It's comfort, it's just a mentality each and every night. You just gotta, it's us versus us. It's about just being a better version of ourselves, coming to play, not going through the motions, being physical on every catch, owning your space. Not skipping over the details. I think that's just the challenge. The details of the game make the biggest difference, the smallest things. And we really got to continue to focus on those if we want to continue to be a good team.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, Jaylen Brown did mention he got to the free throw line quite a bit in this one. 9 of 10 at the line for Jaylen as he had 27 points to go along with the 7 assists and 6 rebounds. We talked about his defense a little earlier, Eddie, but what did you like from what you saw from Jaylen tonight in the sense of the way he attacked the basket?
Well, he was attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line, like he said. The team was physical. He still was efficient from the field. And you got to also think, R.J. Barrett had it going. He was guarding him most of the time. And so that's a lot of energy that you're exerting on that side of the basketball. But having 7 assists, being able to get your other guys involved, even though you're rocking, 8 for 16, you would think that a guy that's making the money he's making, that's the superstar on the team, all NBA player, can go and get 6 more attempts. But instead, he finds those attempts for his teammates. If he draws 2, he'll dish it off or he'll finish at the rim like he just did. But for the most part, I thought he had a very efficient game tonight besides from the three-point line.
He also played a game-high 43 minutes in this one as well, Chris. And you did hear him. He was asked afterwards, about that hip flexor, said that it's something that he's just going to have to manage.
Yeah, and what does 100% Jaylen Brown look like if he was this aggressive tonight and making the plays that he did? I can't wait to see his drive total from this game. Felt like it's definitely an uptick from what we've seen this season. And the assist number is awesome where, not only is he driving with a purpose and trying to get to the free throw line, but the ability to swing it out to Al Horford in the corner, to dump it off to Neemias Queta around the basket. It's a luxury when we were asking for so many years for the superstars to sort of evolve to be those guys that could make those rim reads and make the right play over and over again. And Jaylen showing that he can do it and still give you the scoring and find different ways to be efficient on the court. It's just a total package right now. And like I said, if he's still being limited in any way by the hip flexor, I'm intrigued to see what a fully healthy Jaylen Brown looks like and if he can maintain that level of aggression attack in the basket. Celtics Talk is presented by 24 Auto Group, where now through the end of the year, they are doubling your down payment at all 11 locations throughout southern New England. Go to 24autogroup.com for more info.
Jayson, what was going through your mind when you made that much more difficult shot at the end of overtime? And were you thinking at all about the end of regulation shot at that point, or was it just totally moved forward and just focused on the fact you just hit that one?
Yeah, I mean, it felt good. Felt good to finally hit one of those. Obviously, after the horrible miss I had at the end of regulation, so it felt good to bounce back and, hit the shot for the win.
It looked like Jaylen was coming up to get that ball. Can you walk us through what that play was designed to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a play that we run frequently throughout the game. I get a live catch. They play split action on the other side. Sam Hauser gets a lot of threes off that action. So we have different reads. The point guard, D. White, pops back for a flare, could throw it to him if I want to attack the matchup. So it's never like do this exact thing. It's just Joe puts us in positions and, just read what they give you.
And, this season, obviously, everybody talking about it's a new season, right? And, you had the loss against Atlanta. This one didn't probably go the way you guys thought it would go. What are the challenges here of going through this whole new season as the champions, having, knowing that you know how to win, but also knowing that you have to do things over again to get back there?
Yeah. What we did last year was extremely tough, and what we're trying to do this year is even tougher. And I think over the course of an 82-game season, we can learn from each and every game and give them credit. Like, we competed, we played hard, we made some mistakes that wasn't from a lack of effort. Like, those guys maybe aren't the most talented team, but they play extremely hard. They play with a lot of pace, a lot of freedom. They're very athletic. They crash the glass every single time. They just put a lot of pressure on us tonight. And every night is not going to go how you expect it to. As long as you figure out a way to win, however it looks, winning is the most important.
Jayson, season high 18 points from Al tonight. How important was he in this win?
He was super important. His presence out there, just defensively and obviously on the offensive end, he's always an outlet. They got to make a decision. Do they want to help on our drives? And obviously his ability to space the floor is so important to our team and what we're trying to accomplish. He just makes the game easier by his presence being out there.
Jayson, you guys have been playing in some close games lately. Joe and I both talked about the importance of that experience. I'm curious, how much do you enjoy playing in these types of games versus a game where you win by 30 and don't play in the fourth quarter?
50-50. Hopefully we get some of those games coming up.
Is it a different type of joy, like winning a game like this versus winning a game like 30, or is it just different feeling?
Yeah, I mean, we call them sometimes the game is ugly and it's not going how you want it. Game's a little messed up. You're not hitting shots. Certain guys are out. And how do you still figure out a way to win? So it's for sure rewarding walking out of a game like this and knowing we figured it out.
Jayson, how tough is it mentally to maintain your confidence? Like you said, you knew you'd missed a bunch of shots, especially the one at regulation. How do you mentally stay in there and believe the next one's going in?
I got a lot of problems in life. Confidence has never been one of them. I work too hard at my craft. I've played too much basketball to ever doubt the next shot, whether it's an in-and-out miss or whether I miss the entire rim. I know what I'm capable of, and you always believe that the next one is going in.
So is it more like frustration rather than doubt?
Yeah, frustrated. You want to make every shot you take, especially in an opportunity like that. You want to, seize the moment. But we had overtime, and we had more time, second chance to redeem ourselves and figure out a way to still win the game.
Jayson, real quick, first one. You got hit in the face in the first half. What happened there?
Yeah, he smacked the shit out of me. I thought my tooth came out. Oh, it was loose a little bit, but I was fine.
And, you've watched, I'm sure on tape, you've watched Jordan's game winner against Cleveland and Kobe's multiple game winners. That's what makes great players great players. I mean, do you want those? I mean, you got to want those signature moments. You got to want moments like tonight. That's got to get you going in terms of your personal goals and also team goals. But just to be that guy that people can say, oh, I saw, or the fans can say, I saw Tatum hit a winner. Like, that's got to fuel you.
Absolutely. Every kid growing up in their driveway or at a gym or a park, counted down out loud and envision themselves in moments like this. And, for me, I've always wanted to be a part of those moments and never worried about, if you miss or things like that. Like, I've never been scared of the outcome, good or bad. So, yeah, my favorite players, I grew up watching had moments like this where they made them and they missed them. But they were always willing to, regardless of how the game was going, be in that moment and, be brave, I guess, in those moments.
Last question to Jay.
It looked like you paused for a moment after Jaylen fell on that final play. What was going through your head then? And then as you start to realize probably like this is on me now, what are you trying to gauge with your defender as you get into that last shot?
I honestly thought they were going to call a foul. I really paused for a second. I thought it was going to be a late whistle. From my view, running off the double screen, pin down, it felt like he got knocked off balance, and I thought it was going to be a foul. So I waited for a second. They didn't call it. And then I just kind of wanted to wait for the very last shot. I didn't want to give them a chance to, maybe rebound and have some time left. That's all we talked about, really, just make sure we take the last shot.
All right, you know what it is. Tuesday night, NBA Cup Game 2, but the potentially undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers, the most certainly top of the Eastern Conference Cleveland Cavaliers, coming to TD Garden, 14-0 to this point. They got a game Sunday against the Hornets with a chance to keep that perfect record intact coming to Boston. And look, regardless of how Sunday plays out for them, this one's going to have a little extra juice. I keep joking, there's games on the calendar that you circle. Well, maybe you wouldn't have circled that one at the start of the season, but certainly coming back to it now, you're throwing 2 circles or 3 circles. I was saying we draw a smiley face, a star, whatever you need to do, because this one there's going to be an energy inside of TD Garden, given not only the NBA Cup and the floor and a chance for the Celtics to kind of muscle their way back into that after tripping up against the Hawks, but you've got a showdown with a team that is pretty well asserted as the next best team in the Eastern Conference, at least based on early play. And let's face it, if the Cavaliers had been healthy during the playoffs, that could have been a lot more interesting of a series than maybe the 5 games it went suggested. Mobley's been great. Kenny Atkinson has unlocked him and this entire team. What Donovan Mitchell can do, and the Donovan Mitchell, Jaylen Brown little rivalry will probably be on full display. Celtics have struggled against size this season. They've given up a ton of points in the paint. We saw it tonight, giving up 76 against the Raptors. So that's going to be something to watch in this game, like how they respond. Do they finish possessions, defensive possessions with rebounds? Do they keep guys out of the paint and away from easy buckets? Cavs can score points in a hurry. I think they just put up 144 against the Bulls the other night. So it's going to be a fun little showdown, and it's going to be tough. It's nice that the Celtics have this little break in the action, hence the reason I got to sneak away a little bit. But you got a monster game on Tuesday night. We just got to get there. And so a couple more days. We saw what a couple of days of rest did for Al Horford in this one. Celtics get a chance after a couple overtime games in this stretch to rest up. But Tuesday night's the big one. We'll be right back here with you on the postgame pod. So go like, subscribe, check us out on the YouTube page. We'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.